Hey guys, we're gonna do an August garden tour. Here we go. We redid Viviana's playhouse, repainted everything, did all the trim, and then I told her we'll plant sunflowers and zinnias in front of her cute little porch here. Doing so good. What is this one? Ooh. But yeah, here is the garden. It is a beautiful sunny morning. So, this garden I call the cottage garden, and it's like spaces. There are planting spaces inside with pathways. Feels more like rooms inside of the garden. But along the front we have our lavender hedge, and then on this side we have another lavender hedge. Then we have David Austin roses in between. So there's one. This one actually has some blooms on it. The bees are buzzing this morning. And then this bed, not sure what this is going to turn into at some point. But for right now, we have Proven Winners roses. So we have the At Last and the Reminiscent. And then if I stand back, so right here you can see there's a grass pathway that tucks in. I want to have an arbor here and then have two climbing roses on either side. So there is a space right here that has been left open, and same with right here, that space has been left open. These beans on this cattle panel trellis are all volunteer. They are really pretty. They're the rattlesnake pole beans. Really pretty colors. And same with these, volunteers. And down here, this is a David Austin rose as well. This one, I think I might have to pull out. Not sure why it's so little, but, and this one is a David Austin as well. Then I have a boxwood here that matches the top corner. Good morning! Oh. Why are you out? The chickens are going to join us in their happy collaboration this morning. All right, so if we walk in here, I'm just gonna go through row by row, show you guys what's growing right now. And here I planted peppers on the exterior side of the row, and then inside is all zinnias. It has actually been really nice because it helped the peppers have something to lean up on, but they are pretty huge, so I don't know if it's something I'll do again. There's some beautiful zinnias in here. This is a pepper plant, so it's pretty tall. This one is one of my favorites this year. Just a bunch of beautiful, beautiful colors. I'll be saving a lot of seeds. So pretty. And then this border is a work in progress. It is kind of a mess right now, but we have the echinacea that I just planted this year, Russian sage. This, I believe, I can't remember what that is, that yellow. Then in here, there is, I think this is Veronica, and this giant grass plant. And then right here, this has been left open because here, I do want this path here to extend down, and eventually there'll be gates and a permanent fence right here. On this side, we have beautiful pink zinnias. This bed here is planted the same way. So we did peppers on the exterior edges, and then inside we did basil, which is something we did last year as well. Worked out really, really well. And then here, like, this side mirrors this side. So these plants here mirror the other one. And then the Russian sage over there is just massive. So anyways, this whole bed is full of sweet peppers and lots of different varieties of basil. And then we have some volunteer celosia. Here we have volunteer beans. These are the rattlesnake pole beans as well. And then giant borage plants. Like, I don't even know. They're massive. They're the white ones, so I've never actually had those. So we'll see how they bloom. But we did just little tucked in nasturtium. Lots of pretty blooms here as well. The butterflies and the hummingbirds and the bees are just incredible here. There's something going on with the center of this bed here because all the plants in the middle are short. So I don't know, is it a deficiency or something? But we did the same one as that with basil in the middle with all of the peppers. And then this was a volunteer zinnia from last year. So we just let it go, do its thing. Then I have a chives plant there and right here. This whole bed, I think we're going to take these out. I don't know what variety of daisy they are, but they like don't bloom or like it takes forever in the season for them to bloom. So I think I'm going to move them because they're taking up this giant planting area that I could be using for something else. So anyways, then we have a volunteer ground cherry. If you're not sure what a ground cherry is, they have these little lantern looking blooms. Well, actually that's the fruit. So the blooms are tiny. They're those little tiny yellow flowers right there. And then the lanterns go to yellow and then they fall, hence ground cherry. But Viviana loves these and I saw that it was just a volunteer plant, so we left it. And then right here we have sunflowers. This one's actually peeling, getting ready to set for seed. I'm letting all of those. There is a massive one up there. Looks amazing against the blue sky. Like, I'm 5'8" and this sunflower here comes to my head. And so that one is just like way up there. It's amazing. We had some volunteer sunflowers in this bed, and then I just replanted more sunflowers to have continuous blooms. But I see that some of them were the giant yellow ones, so that's fun. This is a cool branching one. Really pretty color, more like wispy petals. So we did those along this bed here. These, so cheerful. And then I'm gonna jump through here. So here's the other boxwood I was talking about. And then just volunteer zinnias that have popped up. I don't even know if I can get through here. And cherry sunflowers. They're massive. I don't know if you can like see this. Like, yeah, they're huge. And then my failed cucumbers. No, I wouldn't say failed. We did grow some, but they're pretty much gone. I see one there and like a tiny little one yet. And then we have borage come up all over the place. I just let it go if the plant is kind of where I want it. And then it'll reseed. And see here. Inside these are all the seeds for borage to reseed itself. So I just let it reseed because I do enjoy that coming back. The bees love that. Oh, here's the newer plant. You can see what this looks like. So that is a borage bloom. Kind of tastes like a cucumber. You just take the edge or take the little stem in the middle, take it off. A lot of people freeze them in ice cubes. They're just really pretty garnishes, but they're edible. You can eat them. Here we have just some little mini zinnias. I've never grown these before. They're a really pretty border plant for sure, but they would not be for cutting. They're really short and little. So there. And then we have my red zinnias that have been really, really pretty. But anyways, so we did beans. These were late planted beans. I'm actually not sure what the date was on these, But we planted these 3 arbors. So these are purple pole beans and then 2 green varieties. I think one's called Kentucky Wonder. Not sure what the other one is. Artichokes. This is the first for me that they've actually grown this big. I don't know if they'll have enough time to actually produce an artichoke, but we're gonna give it a go. They're really pretty, if not. They're like silvery leaves. What else do we have? Zinnias, volunteer, cosmos everywhere, but they have like broken so much this year. And then here, just like, oh, cosmos are probably still my favorite flower. Then here I have okra. These, which some of them have gotten past. Honestly, they're just more fun to grow for me than they're actually like, let's eat them. We eat the little ones, so like this size right here is like perfect. And then the arbors just look amazing with all of the pole beans on them. And then calendula that has gone to seed. So like these, you can just take and toss. But there's so much seed to collect. It's incredible. All right, so down here, we tried our hand at squash again. We had such a bad squash bug infestation that I was just like, I don't know if I want to try it again, but we did. They're tiny plants. These are late planted. So we planted them in July for more like a fall harvest. So we did those 2. So those are zucchinis. Then here on this arbor are cherry tomatoes, and they're massive. We don't trim on them. They just kind of grow how they want to. And then here I have some more squash underneath for this green arbor. This one's actually doing good. This is an acorn squash. There you can see a little one right there. And I had Nicotiana come back. I wasn't sure if I'd actually have any because this bed behind me was where it was planted. And we tore everything out because it had a really bad thistle issue. So we tore everything out and I was like, I don't know if it's gonna come back. These, when the sun just starts going down, release like this amazing scent. That's incredible. Here is my tomato alley. So both sides are cherry tomatoes. Well, I guess these would be a little bit more like a grape tomato right here. So these are the bumblebee. And then we just have like your classic red. Just so pretty. And then, actually, let me run through some of these tomatoes. Here, we just have more repeated perennials. And then at the end, I have this really pretty hibiscus. So pretty. All right, we've got yellow tomatoes. These really cool purple ones. If you're interested in any varieties, I can find them. I don't know them off the top of my head. I do know this one, though. This is a Genovese. Just with all of the ribbed. So pretty. And then these really pretty purple ones start getting a red hue when they're ready. So they start out like this. And some volunteer sunflowers that have not bloomed yet. And then these are still all pretty green. Oh, there we go. Got some tomatoes in there. We're gonna do another harvest on Monday. So just kind of leaving them. This was a self-seeded situation. This is the frosted grass that we use for bouquets, and it has definitely self-seeded itself. In the middle of this row, we did Romas, and I wouldn't do it again. It's just not enough space for everything. But look at these. Oh, they're so pretty. So many giant yellows. Then we have some little like grape bumblebee style. Some more yellows. I do have a green zebra one, and I don't know where it is because my tag situation is not the best, but it is what it is. And then here we have some of my favorites. These are the sun gold cherries, my favorite. Here you can see the beans, which these ones are still all pretty much just in bloom. The purple ones are definitely quicker to grow, for sure. But these, oh, here we go, little baby. they're just incredible. Like if you need a wall of foliage, there you go. All right, and then on the back side of this, I have basil plants. So just all different varieties of basil planted in with the tomatoes. This giant Cosmo bush was a volunteer. We staked it because it's a beautiful color and I want to save seed from it. I actually think, yeah, they kind of form like this backward star when they dry. And then right there are Cosmo seeds. But yeah, I don't know. I just really like that color. This was our onion bed. They didn't do great. I think they need more water. And some of these just like go to like trying setting seed. I'm not sure why. All right, then over here, actually no, let me tuck through, let me finish this garden. Here I did just extra carrots from the bed up there. So I just planted my remaining seeds because I was like, I'm not gonna put them back. This was one of our first sunflowers, volunteer sunflower, huge. And then we have some volunteer tomatoes that are in here, volunteer cucamelons. These I always suck at growing, and then they just volunteer, and I'm like, okay, well, do your thing, and they literally will take over. It's incredible. And then here we have some more beans. Tuck that up there. And here you can see the purple ones. These are beautiful. Now, to be fair, when you cook these, they do turn green, so they're only pretty while you're harvesting them. And I do have a volunteer cucamelon that climbed up the arbor as well. And then the rest of this bed was kind of a failed cabbage situation. I don't know, maybe they will still head. They've been in there since the spring, so I don't know how that's gonna go. Ground cherry, that little plant right there, volunteered as well. These are transplanted beans, would not recommend. They just don't do as well. This Cosmo is also just stunning with the like dark pink center, and then it kind of veins out through. So pretty. I just love like when you watch them, how they just dance in the wind. It's magical. So I'm definitely doing this again, this Cosmo in the arbors, and then just kind of like staking them to that. Definitely doing that again, and I love the beans. So all right, this is our fall bed. We did another planting of peas and carrots. So this is all just different varieties of carrots. I had some dill volunteer, and I'm letting it dry its seed because I definitely want to keep some, but I've been just like tossing it in the beds. Then up here we had extra tomatoes. So originally we had, what was in this bed? I can't remember. Anyways, but we had extra tomatoes, and so we just put up these panels and let them grow. Oh yay, I have another dill. Amazing. It just bloomed. That's why it stuck out. But that's awesome. Anyways, these new arbor things are from Amazon. Don't have anything to say yet about them because I don't know how they're gonna hold up, but we'll see. All right, that is the cottage style garden. And then we'll just go down through this one. The top, I have a perennial bed that we're working on to create. So there's sage, Russian sage, hollyhocks, lilies, peonies, and then a rose of Sharon at the end. In this row, it's so hard. This garden has been such a, ugh. We didn't put cardboard down for this one, and so it has just weeds everywhere. But anyways, we did red sunflowers or variations of red in this first row, and then underneath that we planted cantaloupes and watermelons. I'm gonna actually show you guys some of these because it's awesome. These are the Kiku Cranthosum melons, and they have produced like crazy. They love the ground way more than they love arbors, because I've tried growing them on arbors and they absolutely do not do well. So we have just a bunch of beautiful variations of red sunflowers. Oh my goodness, they're so pretty. So pretty. And my daughter singing really loud in the background. And then Down here, really excited for this. We've actually got some decent sized watermelons. That one right there is probably the biggest one. And then I have sugar babies that are tucked in there, but there's just like there's grass weeds everywhere. Hi. And then in this bed, I did all yellow virgin sunflowers. There is a monarch right there. Oh, hello, pretty. There's so many butterflies. I've seen every kind. So I have a bunch of the monarchs now, the swallowtails, the yellow ones, and then the black and blue ones yet too. All right, let me just squeeze by here. All right, like I said, oh, we do have a blackberry bush. Not sure if that's its final resting place, but we're gonna leave it there for now. And then this row here, I have all kinds of celosia. It's so pretty. All these different colors. Lots of bright purpley colors. The flamingo series, the Texas plume series. These are more like a comb shape to them. And then dark purples, and then amaranth. We have the Love Lies Bleeding, and this has been, I need to stake this though. I did not realize that that is a thing. Same with this one. And then these are just like massive. Like I don't even know how to cut those. They're just huge. Anyways, then here in this bed, I have salvia, lysianthus, pincushion flowers, coreopsis, gomphrena, dahlias, more salvia, and then we did plant some dahlias from seed. Those just take forever to do anything. But this dahlia I actually got from a greenhouse. It is beautiful. It kind of comes out of this like red, and then it turns to like more of a pink color. Really, really pretty. It's done really, really well. I do need to learn a little bit more about dahlias to get the stems to be a little bit longer, but other than that, it's been really fun. Here we have this beautiful coreopsis. I think it's coreopsis. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. And then we had pincushion flowers. Those were early on, so these are actually mine from seed, and they're just now starting to open. Oh, so pretty. And then I tried lysianthus for the first time this year. Definitely doing it again. These blooms are done, but they were beautiful. And I had like a purple one. This is Orlea, really pretty. And then this is another bed we did in July. So we have cosmos at the end, and then we have another whole long row of peas going all the way to the end. That section over there is carrots. And then we have another flush of sunflowers, zinnias, and calendula in this section. And then down here, we took all of our extra pepper seeds and planted them in here, but you can't tell because the weeds and celosia have just taken over with life. So we do need to come through here and weed everything. But zinnias, sunflowers, this was a volunteer one as well. Just really, really huge. And it's one plant. It's literally like massive, massive. Definitely saving seeds from that one because that one did super amazing. But yeah, in here there are pepper plants. Oh, it's like all of my extra jalapenos, which is awesome because they will produce. But I didn't have enough room over there to plant all of those in. And then we just have another whole beautiful flush of zinnias. In here are some of the floret ones as well as over in the other garden. There were floret zinnias and some volunteer celosia. This is all volunteer. I didn't plant any of this stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of that row. Just extra peppers and zinnias. Lots of volunteers. This one I'm probably not even going to be able to walk over. This was a fail as well. We planted broccoli, but it was way too late. So it just bolted. It's probably going to set seed at some point. This color, beautiful as well. Just lots of cosmos. Watch them dance. Oh, love it. And then, yeah, just a whole bunch of beautiful zinnias. I'm a fan of these. These ones, they're okay to me, but maybe I just haven't found the right one yet that have these like halo looking rings. I'm not a bright orangey person either. I really like the softer colors, but the butterflies love the bright colors. So I will forever and ever plant the bright colors. Here is more calendula that self-seeded itself. Now there's just seeds everywhere, so we just go ahead and sprinkle those. These are so cheerful. Hi. And then maybe, I'm not sure what this little blue stuff is, and I've noticed it in like 2 other spots. But if it is a plant, oh, this is how this seeds. Do you hear that? It's literally this frosted explosion grass, which is fine. It's easy to like keep track of where it's at, but it's a little bit like, let's not have it everywhere. Ooh, look at that. Looks like lemonade, like strawberry lemonade. That is really pretty. Wow. Mostly if you sit here in the later part of the afternoon, you can literally come watch butterflies and hummingbirds like crazy. These, super pretty. So this one just has the ring. It doesn't really go into the petals. That one's a really pretty one. We are saving seed from like all of these cosmos because they're amazing. Same with the Brussels sprouts. Too late. Planted way too late. These, like this color I'm not a fan of, but the butterflies like love these bright orange colors. So I'll probably always plant those just because they do tend to kind of go to those. The birds, the little finches have snacked like crazy. Still have a bunch of sunflowers coming. All right, this next row, yeah, this garden, the whole thing is getting redone. So we are taking all the plastic off, tilling it, getting it level again, covering the whole thing with tarp, and then starting over next year. So it'll be a lot easier to manage because this is just madness. And then some of it's like part of that mixed blend wildflowers, and so we let it go, but then you have no idea what some of the other stuff, obviously like this grass stuff is all weeds, but yeah, it's been a little bit much in this whole bed. I did have feverfew, so like right here, this is all feverfew. I've actually never seen those seeds off of a plant, so that's interesting. And I do want it to come back because the flowers are just like these tiny little, like almost chamomile looking flowers, and I do want that to come back. Then we had poppies, which I think actually a lot of them have opened and dropped all their seeds. Poppies, there. So like these little drum looking things were just like full of poppy seeds. I think they dropped all. That's amazing. And then we had cosmos flop over. But while I'm beside this bed, this was all of our extra tomatoes. So we were like, we can't just throw them away. So we planted a whole row of tomatoes. And then underneath you can see like their nasturtium flowers, which has been a blessing because these are doing okay. This garden was made after that garden, so the soil over here isn't quite as taken, I don't know. It just hasn't had as many seasons to like have stuff added into it for it like it's nutritional, and there's kind of a lot of clay in some of the areas, and so that's kind of so it's been a lot of work just to get the soil to be really healthy and provide what the plants need basically. This is another massive cosmo plant growing, and then like here I have those little blue flowers. Yeah, so sometimes this is what the garden looks like. Wild madness. And then sometimes it looks clean and refined, but we'll take what we got. All right, let's squeeze through here. Oh, geez. More tomatoes, just a bunch of different varieties. That one is going to be massive. I'm so excited. And then we have marigolds that seeded themselves from last year. More cosmos, celosia. I think this was from the Texas plume variety I had last year. This one is really pretty. It's almost like more red. So yeah, that. Ooh, hummingbird. It's right there. Oh, how pretty. All right. And then our last bed is strawberries. So these are all June bearing on one side, ever bearing on the other side. There are actually still some blooms on these, so I'm gonna go check and make sure that there are no strawberries. Down here, ooh, yes. Oh, that one's a little mush. Oh, so is that one. No, I need one, just one. All right, that's gonna consist of the garden, or my big gardens anyways. I actually, you know what, I'll walk back by the house, show you my herb bed. Amazing, amazing. I'm gonna have myself a tomato sandwich today. Alrighty, so the front of the house is just all of the perennials. The celosia there, though, has been volunteer. Same with this one here. All the alyssum volunteered itself. It's been fantastic. After you get to like 3 years and you're okay with letting stuff go to seed, this is kind of what happens. We did plant the lemon coral sedum. The elephant ears are from last year. They're actually way bigger this year than they were last year. Beautiful hydrangea bush back there. This is more just perennials, working on like shade garden kind of stuff. These are new, but I'm not a fan because they keep doing that. Because I don't have drip in here, so I don't know. It's having to water a lot of stuff. And so we have a mixture of hostas. I'm trying to do like more texture kind of stuff and color because there's not a lot of things that you can get that bloom. These, however, are beautiful. They're hellebores. And I just added 2 more, so right there and right there. And then I added those 2, the ones that I already had. But those are beautiful in the spring. I do wish I could get some sort of like fern to grow and fill in the back. But I do have like these variations of hosta in here. And I added these heucherella. I think, what are these called? Can't remember. But I have more of those, and then on the other side as well. So this plant was already here. Same with like the fine lines. And then we just always do pots on the front porch and a bunch of house plants. But that, and this dahlia, never dug it out, always comes back every year. It's beautiful. There is a birdhouse underneath what looks like this shrub. Actually, I ended up trimming it this year, and it's done way better. It keeps its shape. This is an autumn clematis. Autumn something clematis. It smells amazing. It's just starting to bloom right now. But they are massive. They're massive. And then we have this beautiful old Japanese maple, which does need something. I feel like it needs some trimming or something this fall. Same with that one. It is a Canadian chokecherry. Has some sort of fungus, so we need to take care of that this fall. And then these Rudbeckia plants self-seed themselves, which I am fine with. I do need to figure out a better staking method for them. And then this like pretty pink celosia is just beautiful. The sedum is just now starting to turn pink. I planted this, and then we have this beautiful blue spruce in the middle. But like, look at this thing. It is insane. Then this massive tree is a magnolia. It smells amazing in the springtime. I did plant phlox. Not sure if I'm going to keep them. I don't love that they get this like brownish, like this. I am not a fan of that. If it's going to do that, I'm taking them out and putting them somewhere else. But my vision was for them to kind of cascade the wall. And then just some evergreens underneath there. This bed is also kind of a work in progress. I did add some hostas this year. These are all annuals, and then we added some alyssum. Maybe it comes back. This is a perennial that was here. I did try roses here. They don't do great, so I'm going to transplant those. And then the patio just has a bunch of like potted things, and the green stalks, and all of those pots. This has been one of my favorite blends. So we have dichondria, geranium, and then this is actually a perennial grass, which I will take out this fall and actually put it somewhere. Super, super fun. Love the colors. This I want to use again in a different way though. It's very, very flat. And so I would imagine it would be a really pretty ground cover. So I'm doing, and then these are going to go in the garden. They're lavender plants. Really pretty daisies and angel wings. Some more, totally went blank. What is this? Oh geez. Anyways, this green stalk, we just put leftover stuff in. Ooh, these tomatoes are actually ready. But I'm going to tear a lot of this out and just plant it with something fun for fall. Maybe like lettuces and spinach and stuff. And some flowers like pansies. These are fun. We did have them interplanted with something else, but those did not do well. But these actually do fairly well for the lack of sunshine they get. So I'm really impressed. Definitely want to do hanging baskets like that, but just this plant. So I really enjoyed those. We have more house plants just kind of set out here. This is a, what is this? Lemon cypress? Yeah. And then this little fun plant. I found these pots on Amazon. They have this self-watering reservoir on the bottom, and then there's like this little wick that goes down. Love it. Also, this is new. We got this year, and it is beautiful. And then the kids' little fairy garden, but I'm having to hide it from Jacoby because he just wants to yank everything out. He's not old enough to understand that you can play with it without destroying it. So there's that. And then behind the house, we have cat's pajamas. Oh, yay! I'm going to have to stake these. This is my very first gladiolus. Oh my goodness, they're going to be so pretty. Wonderful. And then I did purple. Love it. I'm probably going to do it again. And we tried hollyhocks, and they just got eaten alive. And then all of this celosia is just reseed from previous years of planting. This is a giant There, hibiscus. It's like that really pretty mauvey pink color. But I always have these leaf cutter things that eat the leaves, and I hate spraying for stuff, so I don't know what we're gonna do yet. And then back here, this is an azalea. I think it needs more sun because our pretty dogwood is very large. And then Dusty Miller's more cat's pajama nepeta, and then we have some heuchera, I think is what that's called. That was here. I've just been trying to add plants like where I'm like, ooh, I would like that. The roses need to come out because those don't get enough sun anymore. And then up here we just put some mums in, and they actually do have buds on them. So, and then we have the giant hydrangeas. That is their second year. So that's exciting. I think they're gonna fill in really pretty beside the shed and kind of like hide the edges. And then these beds here. So I have my herb bed. This is all pretty much perennial herbs. So we have thyme and we have oregano. I'm not gonna touch it because there are so many bees right now because it is blooming. And the honeybees love this stuff. So we have sage, we have curry, we have oregano, lemon balm. There you go. And I did put a lavender in here. Then we have some more thyme, parsley that went to seed. And then one thing I do want to add in here are more rosemary plants, but those are so hard because if it gets too cold, they just die. And then this whole area is going to be redone at some point too. This is all raspberries, and I need to figure out how to hold them or transplant them. And then there's a clematis in there as well. But here we have, actually need to like grab a seed bag and save a bunch of these lettuce seeds. This is Amanda lettuce, and it is such a beautiful, perfect bunch of lettuce. And then I have this little raspberry shortcake plant, which I think is done, but they're thornless, so this is really nice for the kids. But all of these plants are just lettuce. This is our fall undertaking of a bed. There is asparagus in there and strawberries, but it is just, it's a mess. It's a total mess. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then, yeah, the beds around the house are something that I really want to work on yet and add some things to, but oh, the lovely garden. Oh, we did do this. We took out our fence and it feels so much better. It feels open. I love it. But I can see the garden. There's no fence in the way. Eventually the greenhouse will sit there. But we're trying to figure out, we want to get somebody in to like maybe show us if we can do some terracing in this area. But how lovely. Anyways, that is going to be it for the August garden tour. I took you guys around all the things that are growing around the house, the big gardens. Yeah, August is so fun because everything is just like that harvesty season is coming. We've already put a bunch of tomatoes and stuff away, and there's so much in there. The August garden is just incredible. So anyways, thank you so much for jumping on. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the next video.